After Donald Trump's first 100 days in office, how is he doing? Well, to be honest, he could be doing a little bit better, all right? We have been inundated with poll after poll from left-wing organizations, Ipsos, Reuters, Harvard Harris, but the one I'm going to refer to here today is Rasmussen because they were actually very close on calling the election consistently in the last cycle. And as you can see over here, yes, Donald Trump has gotten down to 47% approval. Okay, now here's the good news. This is 100 days of the media hammering Donald Trump. And if you look back here at the beginning, this is after Election Day, and you can see that Doge being enacted, the border being closed, mass deportations was not enough to get Donald Trump below that 50% mark. But then we move over here to April, and it's the tariffs. All right, Liberation Day. So this is actually what's frightened some of his supporters. But the good news is, yes, he was able to climb back above 50%, but has since dropped back down. So what does this actually mean? It means his base is solid, but the media has found an effective attack line, and that is with the tariffs. And they've been able to frighten enough people saying, oh my goodness, this is over, it's the end, it's going to be a recession, etc. But how do Donald Trump supporters really feel about this? Let's go to check out this focus group by Frank Luntz. But before we do this, don't forget to like and comment on this video so we can break through the algorithm. Here we go.
I need to ask you an issue that no one's brought up and that has crashed your 401ks, most of you. It's your tariffs. Stock market is way down.
It needed a correction.
Oh, so you support it?
Yes. You bet.
Yep.
How many?
And I have to tell you,
how many?
my 401k wasn't impacted at all.
How many? First off, how many of you did not lose any money over the drop, over the crash of the stock market? One individual, two people. So, Serena,
the Biden administration, I lost more money than the Trump administration by far.
In 2020,
Like
in 2022, they crashed it by
20% or more.
25%. Yeah. For the whole year.
no one's upset over this?
No.
No.
Nobody.
There's not a
an end game
single
here, though.
40-year period in the history of the stock market where the stock market hasn't appreciated at an average rate of about 7%. It's so, yeah, there's ups and downs and corrections, and sometimes people are foolish and they jump out, buy high, sell low. But if people just get in and stay the course, they'll be just fine.
Yeah, and I was about to say, I'm not a day trader. I try not to look at it very often, which is, I think, a good thing. But I also trust that Trump and all of his advisors that are involved with the tariff issue know what they're doing. So I'm just going to hang on. I know it'll correct at some point. Yeah, I'm not really worried about it.
I think the
How much
market's going to
more
go
are
up
you
higher.
willing to pay for products and services that come out of China? How much do prices have to go up before you say, this is not that great?
I'd rather not buy from China. I'd rather pay more money and buy American.
Same.
And prices only go up if demand is inelastic and if there's no alternative supplies. And they're doing a brilliant job. They're surrounding China with countries that want to manufacture stuff as well. And we do need to bring the stuff back, the strategic stuff for sure. But China is going to be in the soup if they don't knock it off.
Every article of clothing I have on is probably made in China, Malaysia, or somewhere else. Okay, retailers, give me something made in America. I'd gladly buy it, but it's not there. Go to Walmart. You ain't going to find jack shit, pair of socks and underwears made in America.
Made in China.
Maybe. But, shoes, Nikes, Pumas, they're all overrated. They're probably all made overseas. How many American shoe companies have you seen go kaput? There used to be one 30 miles down the road, made Stride Rite, made great shoes. You don't hear from them. China, Malaysia.
We need a correction. We just need a correction. We're willing to take whatever
Willing to ride it out.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Stay the course.
It's
Stay the course.
Exactly. It's been
Yep.
a rough 2 weeks, but guess what? We got 3.5 years to worry.
Exactly.
And if it's like this in a year, I'll have another discussion maybe, but I don't think it's going to be.
I'll tell you what.
Stay the course.
So these people have level heads, right? The stock market, of course, cannot go up forever. You can't have 10, 20% gains without expecting some type of retraction, all right? And by the way, we're talking about Donald Trump over the course of 1 month, basically trying to retool our entire tax infrastructure. And what? The Dow is down a couple thousand points and that's it, right? This is not a crash. This is nothing to be panicked about. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't love it, but this is a natural part of the market reaction. And by the way, notice how we're saying, yeah, we wouldn't mind paying a little bit more for goods that were made here in America. But of course, right now, it's pretty much no option for that, okay? But of course, people on the up and coming economic spectrum would, of course, have a little bit of trouble buying these more expensive goods. But of course, we're not saying we're going to cut off all trade with other countries. We're just saying, hey, we want to bring manufacturing back. And by the way, after a full month of straight media attacks on this, they've only been able to get Donald Trump down 3 points below 50, right? That's it, okay? If that's the best they can do, then as soon as all of this tariff stuff, the trade war is figured out, then it's going to be smooth sailing. But let's go ahead and hear this being explained by Scott Jennings.
One of the issues that Donald Trump is really under the water, probably his worst issue, is the Maryland man who is in El Salvador right now. It's something that...
Maryland man?
He is a Maryland man.
Come on.
What I will tell you
is... He is an El Salvadoran citizen. He is not a Maryland man. He is an illegal immigrant living in this country illegally for 14 years.
You can say whatever you want to say, Scott, but the American people...
This is why the polling is the way it is, because we're lying. We're lying.
We're not lying. The American people...
The peace orders were in Maryland when he was beating his wife.
The American...
Even though they have been saying that about him for weeks, that is not penetrating, and Americans are just misled, and that's why they don't like how Trump has handled this.
He has been saying that for weeks. And what has the entirety of the national news media been saying? He's a Maryland man. He's a mild-mannered suburban father. We have lied our rear ends off about this case. He is a El Salvador illegal immigrant. He came to the country 14 years ago illegally. There is a ton of evidence that he is involved in gang activity. There is a ton of evidence that he was involved in human trafficking.
So that, of course, sums up the media's position, right? From day one, they've had nothing positive to say about Donald Trump. Any of his policies, every single thing he does is going to be the worst thing in the world. And of course, the reason why all of these polls are coming out, right, so soon within the first 100 days is they're trying to shape public opinion as they always do, right? Oh, look, Harvard-Harris has a negative poll on Donald Trump. Americans don't approve of this, that, or the other, all right? That's what they're trying to do. It's to shape the public perception, not, of course, to actually reflect what's really going on, because all Donald Trump is actually doing is every single thing he said he was going to do before he was elected. Closing down the border, trimming down government, and of course, going after other countries' poor trade deals with all of these tariffs, all right? That's exactly what he said, and the only reason people are turning against him at this point is because of the alarm bells that the media is constantly ringing. I mean, honestly, do you think Trump would be at 47%, which, by the way, is not the worst number in the world, to be all honest, with every single smear they've thrown at him? Do you think he'd be this low if it wasn't for the constant media fear-mongering? Of course not. And here's Reince Priebus pointing out that exact same fact.
And Reince, I want to start with you. 100 days not looking so good for President Trump. Our new poll, which we've talked about extensively, President Trump has the lowest approval rating of any president at this point in office, going back to Harry Truman. People are worried about a recession. His polling is underwater on every single issue.
Well, I think it's important to know. I mean, this is a snapshot, and I think we're in the restructuring phase and the disruption phase of the Trump administration, meaning he promised all of these things. I mean, is there anything he's doing right now that he didn't promise, whether it be immigration, whether it be tariffs?
Well, I think probably back and forth on tariffs.
But there's some good news, too. Inflation is down, rates are down, gas prices are down. I think what you're going to see, and I think what was revealing in Scott Bessent's interview, is the next 100 days, which is the rebuilding 100 days, which is cutting deals on the tariffs, which is calming people down as far as where we're going in the economy, the tax cuts that are probably likely coming to the economy. I think the one thing you can say about President Trump is that he's doing exactly with what he said he was going to do. And a lot of politicians make promises, they don't keep them, and he's keeping every single one of them. But some people don't like some of the tariff talk, but
Well,
It's
there's
going on
probably a
around.
reason for that.
Yeah, notice how the Democrats aren't talking about the price of eggs anymore? That's because they went down. We're not talking about the price of gas. That's because it's going down. We're not talking about inflation. That's because the rate of increase is going down. These are all excellent pieces of news for Donald Trump. But of course, the mainstream media, the lefties over here on ABC, etc., they are not going to point that out. Instead, of course, they're going to gaslight. They're going to fearmonger. They're going to say, oh, it's the worst thing in the world if we have a tariff on this country. It's the worst thing in the world if a gang member is deported, right? But Trump is doing exactly what he said. He's completely transparent. He's made promises and he's keeping those promises. And the 47% of the people who voted for him still have that support. And those numbers are going to rise back up, provided, of course, Trump is able to turn this around within the next 4 to 6 months. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and say hi to your mom for me.